Hello, my name is Yashar Doğan. I am a solicitor advocate at Redstone Solicitors, specialising in UK immigration and nationality law. Replacing the Tier 2 General Visa, the skilled worker route allows eligible applicants to come to or stay in the UK to take on a skilled job with an approved employer. In this video, we'll discuss the requirements and application process for the skilled worker visa. As the name suggests, this visa is primarily a worker visa. We are saying primarily because there's an adaptation of the skilled worker route which enables entrepreneurs to establish a company in the UK and have themselves self-sponsored through their company as a skilled worker. This adaptation has been branded as the self-sponsorship, or more accurately, the self-sponsored skilled worker route. We have another video in which we've provided detailed information about the self-sponsored skilled worker route, and it's available for you to watch. This video is about the standard skilled worker route. Do I need a sponsor to be able to apply for a skilled worker visa? As said earlier, this visa is primarily a worker visa. Therefore, unless you take the self-sponsored skilled worker route, a job offer is needed from an eligible employer. The employer must hold a sponsorship license from the Home Office before they can sponsor you as a skilled worker. A sponsor license is formal authorization from the Home Office allowing a business or charity to recruit and employ a person who isn't a settled worker or who doesn't otherwise have immigration permission to work in the UK. We've covered the conditions and process of obtaining a sponsor license in a separate video which is available for you to watch. If you've found an employer who has a genuine vacancy that you can fill and they'd like to sponsor you for it as a skilled worker but don't yet have a sponsor license, we can help them obtain a license. What are the other requirements for the skilled worker visa? So you need a job offer from an employer who holds a sponsor license. The other requirements you need to meet for this visa are as follows. You must be over the age of 18. The job offer provided by your employer must be to fill a genuine job vacancy that requires a certain skill level. The required skill level is at least Regulated Qualifications Framework Level 3, which is considered to be equivalent to UK A-levels. Does this mean I need to have UK A-levels or an equivalent qualification to be eligible for the skilled worker visa? No, you don't have to have A-levels, nor do you need an official diploma, qualification or certificate. It's the job you'll take on that's expected to require a skill, expertise and experience at the mentioned level. Of course, as the applicant, you'll still need to demonstrate that you possess the relevant level of skill, expertise, and experience with alternatives to formal qualifications. For example, this can be through previous employment experience. Where you have formal qualifications in addition to experience, this is likely to make you a better candidate. There may also be situations where a formal diploma, qualification or certificate would be needed, for example, where you are being sponsored as a doctor or nurse. What kind of occupations qualify for the skilled worker visa? There are various occupation groups that may be eligible for this visa, covering almost all imaginable sectors. To give some examples of the sectors, we can mention healthcare, education, business management, the arts, information technology, software development, the food and catering sector, manufacturing and construction, and many other sectors. Some examples of qualifying occupations include doctors, nurses, midwives, accountants, lawyers, architects, artists, writers, actors, engineers, chefs, head chefs, cafe owners, fish and chips shopkeepers, restaurant managers, hairdressing salon owners, beauty salon managers, chief executive officers, vice presidents, directors, business development managers, marketing directors, and many more. Does my sponsor need to advertise the job in the UK before offering it to me? Unlike the previous Tier 2 visa route, the skilled worker visa route doesn't require your employer to advertise the job position or attempt to recruit a settled worker before offering it to you. It's sufficient that there's a genuine vacant position in the workplace that meets the criteria and it's being directly offered to you. Having said that, your sponsor should still be able to satisfy the Home Office that the position being offered to you is a genuine vacancy and demonstrate how they identified you as the right candidate. What is the salary requirement for the skilled worker visa? Your salary level for the job must be at least £38,700 per year or higher if the going rate for the job is above that amount. In some exceptional cases, lower salary levels may be accepted. For example, if you have a PhD in a field related to the job, if you are under the age of 26 at the time of your application, or if your profession is listed in the Home Office's Immigration Salary List, formerly known as the Shortage Occupation List, a lower salary may be accepted. Is there an English language requirement for the skilled worker visa? Yes, there is an English language proficiency requirement. You need to demonstrate English language ability to at least level B1 in reading, writing, speaking, and listening. To meet this requirement, you must successfully pass an English language test approved by the Home Office. If you are taking the IELTS test, for instance, you need to achieve at least 4.0 in all components of the test. There are other ways in which you could meet the English language requirement. You'll be accepted as having met the requirement if you are a national of a majority English-speaking country such as the USA and Canada, or if you've been awarded a university degree taught in English, or if you've obtained a GCSE or A-level in English while at school in the UK. What is the financial requirement for the skilled worker visa? The financial requirement is this. You'll need to have held a certain amount of money in your bank account for at least 28 consecutive days, ending not more than 31 days before the date of your skilled worker visa application. As of the date of this video, this amount is £1,270. If you have dependent family members who will apply with you, this amount will increase. In some cases, you may not need to meet this financial requirement. For example, if your employer confirms that they'll cover all your expenses during your first month in the UK, this requirement may be waived. Are there any other requirements for the skilled worker visa? Your criminal record may also play a role in the decision to grant you this visa. In particular, if you'll be working in sectors such as healthcare, education, or another similar area, you'll be required to provide your criminal record covering the last 10 years. Do I have to be outside of the UK to apply for a skilled worker visa? The requirement to be outside of the UK to apply for this visa has been removed. Except for visitor visas, short-term student visas, and a few other types, you can switch to the skilled worker visa through an application within the UK from many other visas. For example, Anchor Agreement visa holders can switch to this visa without having to return to Turkey. Is there anything else I should be aware of about the skilled worker visa? Other points to note are these. Under this application type, you can obtain a visa for up to 5 years at once. After coming to the UK, while continuing to work in your main job, you can work in a supplementary job or for your own business for 20 hours a week as long as you comply with certain restrictions. You can also take up a secondary job with a second sponsor subject to certain criteria. In addition, you have the right to study and take on voluntary work. If you need to change your job or employer, you'll need to reapply to the Home Office for permission to work for your new sponsor. Can my dependent family members join me in the UK, and can I acquire permanent residence with the skilled worker visa? Yes, if they meet certain conditions, you can bring your spouse and children under the age of 18 to the UK. After lawfully residing in the UK for 5 years and meeting the other requirements such as passing the Life in the UK test, you may become eligible to apply for indefinite leave to remain. 1 year after obtaining indefinite leave to remain, you can apply for British citizenship, provided that you meet the relevant criteria. What are the costs of applying for a skilled worker visa? For this application type, you'll need to pay an application fee to the Home Office and the Immigration Health Surcharge. Your spouse and children's applications will also attract these fees and charges. If you use the services of a legal representative, their fees will be in addition to the Home Office fees and charges. Your sponsoring employer will incur some costs too. If they don't yet have a sponsor license, they'll incur costs in obtaining a license. They'll also pay a fee to obtain a certificate of sponsorship in support of your visa application and pay the immigration skills charge for hiring and employing a migrant worker. Again, if they use the services of legal representatives in the process, they'll need to pay legal fees too. How can Redstone Solicitors help me obtain a skilled worker visa? As a firm of solicitors specialising in UK business law as well as UK immigration and nationality law, we can help with every stage of your skilled worker visa process. We can help you with all legal aspects of your application for a skilled worker visa and your dependents with their dependent visa applications. If you found an employer who has a genuine vacancy that you can fill and they'd like to sponsor you for it as a skilled worker, but don't yet have a sponsor license, we can help them obtain a license. We can help them assess whether their business's conditions meet the requirements for a sponsor license. If their business doesn't meet the requirements, we can help them with preparing their business for the process, for example, by identifying and preparing policies, procedures, practices, and systems needed for compliance purposes. We can also help them identify and gather information and documents needed for the sponsor license process. We can provide your sponsor and their key personnel with advice, assistance, and representation in their business's sponsor license application process. We can also draft legal representations which they can submit in support of their license application. After your sponsor has obtained a sponsor license, we can help them to apply for a certificate of sponsorship to sponsor you. We hope that this video has given you an overview of the skilled worker route. There will be further videos on this topic. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave comments below so we can answer them in our future videos. Goodbye for now.